Hello guys, it's me, Greed here. Today I want to talk about mobility creep in Overwatch, because there's a shitload of it, and I'm annoyed by it. So, I think an easier way to explain this would be by going through all of the heroes and seeing that if they had no mobility, were they given mobility, or do they need mobility, and things like that, right? Because right now, what I think is happening is, because of it's 5v5 and there's more easier access to space, they just generally give heroes more mobility so they're able to do more things in that space, if you know what I mean. Because there's going to be larger sections of space, or map, I guess, where there is nothing happening. Therefore, they want people to be more active, therefore they give them more mobility. That makes more sense to me. But I think it actually kills the flow of the game. And this is what I mean by when I complain about 5v5 and so on. It does more than just make it so there's one less tank, right? It's a lot more than there just being one less tank. And in that sense, when you add a greater level of mobility, yes, you might be making it so certain characters can access certain parts of the map and access certain fights easier that they wouldn't have been able to before. You're also making it so that when they get into certain scenarios where they shouldn't have mobility, you have given them mobility so that they're able to escape, or get to a teammate, or cut an angle, or do a lot of things that they realistically shouldn't be able to do. So, Ana received no mobility, which is good, because I don't think Ana needs mobility. I think her design is basically perfect. Apart from maybe the nade being a bit too strong in 5v5, but that's a 5v5 problem, because the nade works just fine in 6v6. Ashe, again, didn't receive any extra mobility, apart from the perk, which I don't know why. First of all, I don't like perks anyway, just I'm biased against them, so I'm very rarely going to make an argument that's like, this perk is good. But if it's good, it should be base kit, right? I don't think giving Ashe extra coach gun range makes any sense. It was already more than enough before, but it is what it is. So that's a type of mobility creep, right? Coach gun, in my opinion, was already overpowered before the perk. After the perk, it's just more mobility for the sake of it, I think. I don't really know why. Baptiste, obviously, his exo boots. Now, this is an Overwatch 1 thing with mobility creep as well. I don't think exo boots are necessarily interesting, and I don't think that they should have no cooldown. I don't know why they have no cooldown. If you made it so he had a cooldown, he'd be more diveable. Maybe that's the complaint, because I get in the higher level of play, Bap is very, very easy to dive in a lot of cases. Like, you just go Tracer and Sombra, and he literally can't do anything, even just like Monkey Tracer, and he just fucking dies. But again, like, that's a 5v5 problem. Maybe it would happen in 6v6 too. Maybe it did happen in 6v6. I don't really remember it being that big of a problem. I remember Bat being specifically more anti-dive than anything else. So it could just be a 5v5 problem that he becomes more diveable in this format. I'm not sure, but I don't think he needs that level of mobility. Bastion actually received mobility going into Overwatch 2. So he obviously got that goofy grenade thing, like the generic, it's just a grenade, right? But that gives him a lot of mobility because he's able to shoot it at the ground and launch himself. And some people might go, yeah, I found that interesting. I don't. I think Bastion was specifically made without mobility. They took away his self-heal to give him that mobility. So they're trading off a unique part of his kit where he's able to self-sustain because he's going to be off on an angle. And the same thing as well, as they made it so he could move in turret form instead of being stationary as well. So that's more mobility they gave him. So I don't agree with any of it. I think Bastion should still be stationary, and I think he should still have his self-heal as a sustain, not his, I'm moving and then I'm flying away with my grenade. I think it's more interesting when he has to pick his positioning better because he's not able to just fly out of it with the grenade. Then you've also got the perk, where he's able to refresh his nade cooldown when he goes into turret form, or maybe out of it as well, I'm not sure. So you're able to shoot the ground, nade yourself, go in turret form, nade yourself, go out of turret form, and I think you get nade again at that point, maybe? Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't actually know, because I don't really play Bastion. Either way, 2 nades, we'll say it's 2 nades, because that's what I know for a fact it is. That's a lot of mobility. That's a lot of bouncing around. You can even argue that's a lot of damage, which it really is. I've played with it. It is a lot of damage, but it's also a lot of mobility. Like, if you're getting dove by Tracer, just shoot the floor, dude. If she's near you trying to blink melee, you just shoot the fucking floor and fly away. And then if she keeps going, just go in turret form and just fly away again to a health pack. It's really strong, that level of mobility, which I don't think should be in the game. Anyway, Brig, I don't believe Brig received any mobility buffs or nerfs. I think she operates a shield bash. It's exactly the same as it was before. No problems there. I actually quite like Brig in Overwatch 2, which is interesting because I despised her in Overwatch 1. But in Overwatch 2, I think we've done a fairly good job balancing Brig. I don't think she's annoying to play against. I don't think she's annoying to have on your team. I think she's perfectly reasonable. If anything, I wouldn't even mind them buffing Brig. That might be an insane thing to say, but I think Brig right now is on the weaker side, and I think she's one of the healthier supports in the game currently. So I wouldn't mind Brig being a little bit better than some of these other ones. Next we have McCree. Now McCree didn't necessarily receive any mobility buffs or anything going into Overwatch 2. However, in Overwatch 1 they made it so he could jump while he was midair, or roll while he was midair. This is a mobility change that I actually really like, because it took a lot of clunkiness and jank out of his kit. It felt really good when the change happened. I support the change. The only thing I don't like about it is the added damage resistance to the roll, which I would consider to be mobility creep, because they're buffing the mobility part of the kit. That might be a bit of a reach. It's probably not. It's probably sustained creep or something like that. But yeah, I don't think it needed it. It's just like it was a lame thing to do. If you could pulse a Kree, he rolls it. If you're blading him, well, he rolls it. The D.Va bomb, he rolls it. It's just a very like press the button to get out of jail free card. It's an anti-positioning tool, if you know what I mean. It's a, oh, you got caught out in a bad spot, damage resistance. I don't find that to be relatively interesting. Maybe some people do, but I don't. D.Va, I don't think D.Va received any mobility changes going into Overwatch 2. However, she did receive a lot of other changes that made her mobility much stronger. So I wouldn't consider that mobility creep, as it's the same level of mobility. But the mobility is technically stronger, because D.Va's ability to just nuke people and kill them really fast obviously increased, therefore making it so her mobility was more effective, because it meant that you could do more things with it. Like in Overwatch 1, you couldn't just fly at someone and kill them necessarily, but in Overwatch 2 you can. You literally can just fly at someone and just say that they're dead, and they're dead. It's why I banned D.Va in literally every game. I don't think there's been a game since bans came out where I haven't tried to ban D.Va. I hate D.Va. I find her to be an incredibly boring character. By the way, look at that Sojourn. What a bullshit hero. Anyway, I find D.Va to be an incredibly boring character. I don't think she's got any interesting mechanics, basically at all. I don't like DM. I don't like boosters. I don't like how giant her health bar is. She's a cool looking character though. Her design's nice. I like her design. Zooey Mama, you know? Doomfist. Doomfist got a bit of mobility creep going into Overwatch 2, because obviously he got his Empowered Punch, which people might not argue is mobility creep. I would, because you obviously can go very far with it. And obviously not the purpose of Empowered Punch necessarily. However, I find Empowered Punch to be an incredibly lame ability in the first place. I don't think it's interesting at all. Basically, the way Empowered Punch works is you press your block button. If your block absorbs, I think it's 80 damage, it's something around that, then you receive Empowered Punch. Which basically means your next punch will be faster in terms of how quickly you travel. You will travel a longer distance. You will stun people for longer. You will do more damage to them. I think it's boring. I specifically think it's boring because it's literally just, like, let's nerf all the other parts of his kit to make Empowered Punch fun for the Doom. But I'll be honest, I don't find any part of Doomfist to be interesting or fun. I think his whole kit is boring. He's a CC fest. He's a toddler character that just blows people up immediately. I understand the difficulties of playing Doomfist. I'm not saying he's an easy character or anything. Doomfist is not that easy to play, but he's also not fun to play with or against at all anyway. I think he breaks the flow of the game. I don't think he's an Overwatch character, and I don't like him. Echo, absolutely fine. I think Echo's fine. Freya, obviously bullshit. A shitload of mobility for no reason. And that mobility procs damage output, because when you use most of her mobility in her kit, it gives her more right clicks, which do like 120 damage. Basically, I think Freya might be one of the worst cases of mobility creep in Overwatch, where you could have just made her have the darts. You know, you didn't have to make it so she could be flying all over the place. She's basically got mid-air omnidirectional tracer blinks that also are able to output Soldier, like Helix rockets. It just makes no sense to me. Like, when you start comparing it to other abilities, it becomes really apparent how ludicrously broken Freya is. Now, a lot of people are saying Freya's bad right now. I don't care. You're wrong, and I don't like your opinion. But you're probably a nice person. It's just a level of movement that I don't typically find to be necessary for the character to work. If you're going to be able to output tons of poke damage and tons of burst damage like that, especially from farther away, and especially with so much freedom, yeah, I don't think you should have that much mobility with that much level of burst damage. That's insane. Genji, my child, I love Genji. He's fine. Hanzo, a little too strong right now. I don't think it's a mobility problem. I think it's a Storm Arrow problem. So I think move on because no mobility. Hazard, Overwatch 2 character, obviously absolutely packed with mobility. Leap, wall climb, that's not packed with mobility because that's two things. He has a lot of mobility, right? The wall, especially being able to lock out angles so you can't run away from the fact that he's jumping on you. I find Hazard to be a boring character. He's a 5v5 character. He's very much the, we need to make a character that can do absolutely everything because, well, he's a 5v5 character, and if he doesn't do everything, then he's just going to get counterpicked and lose, right? So I think that's why he's got the same level of mobility as he's got as burst damage. It's the same thing where Hazard would be fine if he didn't have all of the cheese. If he didn't have the block, I'd be fine with everything else, right? I'd be fine with everything else because it's high risk, high reward, you know what I mean? He can get on you and he can kill you quickly, but he's also punishable, right? So give him more mobility and get rid of the survivability. But instead, they're like, what if he had a block that kills you at the same time as it aimbots you and kills you? And he could fly around at 1,000,000 miles an hour and one-shot people. Boring character, honestly. Illari, fuck Illari. I hate Illari. Relf likes Illari. Relf is wrong. Illari's bullshit. I'm not going to talk about the pylon, even though that's the bullshit part of her. The actual outburst, I think, is okay. It's not that bad. It's not the most egregious level of mobility in the game. I don't find it to be necessarily problematic. I don't think it's ruining anyone's games. But I think the overall idea and design of the Illari outburst is the problem, not necessarily the outburst itself, where it's specifically a mobility designed to be the, oh shit, I'm being dove button, and you just press that, right? I prefer when a mobility option grants adaptability, not necessarily is a solution to a problem. Do you know what I mean? Like, for example, if I dive her on Genji and she has outburst, yeah, that's my fault. I shouldn't have dove her and she had outburst. But then on certain characters, you just can't force the outburst without getting close to her, and to get close to her you have to use your mobility option. So on a lot of cases, a lot of these mobility options in this game are, oh, you've used your mobility button on me, I'm going to use my mobility button on you to create more distance, and my character naturally has more range than yours does, therefore my hero is just going to naturally beat yours unless you use team coordination to beat it. And I don't find that to be interesting. I don't think team coordination should necessarily be required to beat one ability, especially in ranked. Maybe in an organized play you could argue that, but I don't think so in ranked, because ranked doesn't work like that. Queen is fine. I like Shout. I actually love all the design about Queen. Queen's a fantastically designed hero. I love Queen. Queen is amazing. I love playing Queen. I love playing against Queen. Everything about Queen is great. I love Queen. The only thing I don't like is that her Shout, commanding Shout, gives over health to her and her teammates. Maybe her. I can understand giving it to her, especially in 5v5. I can understand that. Why her team? Why does her team need like 100 or 75 or whatever it is over health? Why? Why is it that I'm diving her backline and then she shouts frontline to run forward, and then all of a sudden the guy 10 meters behind her all of a sudden has 100 more health? Why? It's just not fun. I don't find it to be interesting to play against. It's just not necessary. I think it's a cheap way to be like a 5v5 tank, where you need to support your team somehow, so you just give them all over health. It's just boring. It's lazy. I don't think Queen Shout is remotely interesting, but it is what it is. Junkrat is my beloved. Jay Silly is the GOAT, and he's fine. Juno, I don't necessarily think she's got an unbelievable level of mobility, because she's a hero that's designed with mobility in mind. Like, for example, Juno was specifically made to have a lot of mobility, therefore I don't find her mobility to be problematic, because it all works together. There's a reason she's got all of it, and none of it is necessarily overpowered or anything, so I'm fine with Juno moving. I like Juno. The only thing I don't like about Juno is the torpedoes, which do 85 damage and like 135 healing, and they're aimbot, and the game does it for you, and it's low skill, no brain, toddler mode baby character that does all the work for you, and it's insanely boring to play against. I don't like the torpedoes. The mobility enable her to spam the torpedoes, therefore the mobility can be annoying, but it's the torpedoes that are causing the problems. So Juno is fine in my book. Kiriko, fuck that character. Why can she teleport through walls? I don't know. You made a dueling character where she's able to duel everyone in the game, but then also said, what if literally every single button in her kit made it so you could get away from those encounters if they were going wrong? Like, imagine I was playing Genji and I dive on you, and I start shooting you, and I start losing, and then I go, oh no, and then I just vanish through a wall. It just doesn't happen. Do you know what I mean? I could understand it if it was a different kind of mobility, like it was a dash, like it was a tracer blink, something like that, because then at least that's trackable, you can follow that or something. But like if your Kiriko just teleports, like, oh, she's behind 7 walls now and she's with her team. It's boring, right? I just don't think it's interesting. I would understand giving Kiriko a mobility option, like a tracer blink, like a Pharah dash, something so that she's able to go and do those duels, because I think Kiriko is a dueling character, and she's more interesting as a dueling character, but I don't think it's interesting right now. because it's just teleport through walls, especially with Suzu. Lifeweaver, not a mobility character, but technically a lot of mobility with Petal Platform and the dash. I don't know why he needs the dash, probably a 5v5 thing where he's getting dove too much, because obviously there's no off tank, so shit format means the character needs to be shit too. I also hate Life Grip. Life Grip's, in my opinion, genuinely the worst ability in the game. I hate it. It's not fun to play with or against. I despise Life Grip with everything in my being. It is a cancer, and I don't like it at all. It's a get out of jail free card. It's literally just that, oh my, he's made a positional error, I'm pressing a button, and he wins. It's a win more button. It's boring. Lucio and Mauga are fine. Unstoppable on Mauga is a little too strong, but 5v5. Mei is fine. Mercy's mobility is fucking nuked and should be reverted back to how it was in Overwatch 1. Mercy's movement sucks in this game. It's really easy for everyone to access, and because it's really easy for everyone to access, it means everyone can do it, which means it has to be weaker. Therefore, you should raise the skill ceiling on it again so that the high-level Mercy players can carry the game with their mobility again, and it's fine. Moira Fade, that's the best escapability in the game, and I think it's honestly fine. I don't really mind Fade all that much. I think it's a little overtuned, maybe the cooldown's a bit short, maybe it goes a bit far, I'm not sure. But Moira, I don't know, it's hard to say. I'm not a fan of it, but I understand its purpose. Orisa is fine. Obviously, the fucking spinny shit's too much, but that's mobility creep. Ram, block bot, Pharah's fine, Reaper's fine, Ryan is fine. Maybe charge cancels too much, but again, 5v5, so he kind of needs it. Hog is bullshit and broken. Sigma doesn't have mobility. Sojourn, why does she have slide? Why? It's the same thing as Freya, right? It's the exact same thing. It's, let's make a poke character that can blow you up from across the map and make it so that if you ever go near them, they can fly away. It's just boring. It's lazy design. It's literally just, it's just, oh, we don't want these characters getting dove too much because their positioning may be bad, and if their positioning is bad, they're going to die all the time. Well, yeah, they should. That's how the game works. If your positioning's bad and you're against dive characters, you should be dove and you should be killed for it. You shouldn't have slide that goes a billion miles because oh my god, I'm getting dove. It's bullshit. Right? The character's already lame without the slide. Why does she need the slide? And why does she have a perk that gives her 2? Right? Sombra, fine. Sombra's fine. Tracer's fine. Her perks are broken, but it is what it is. Widow, grappling hook might be the dumbest ability in the whole game, if I'm being honest with you. Grappling hook makes no sense. It's, again, the same thing. It's just, oh, I'm miles away, therefore I can grapple and get away because I'm in danger or something dumb like that. It's silly. I don't like grappling hook. Wu Yang is too much mobility too. People are saying Wu Yang's not got too much mobility. You're lying. Wu Yang's got way too much mobility in this game, especially with all the other cooldowns culminating in this weird spam bot that he is, where he's just like shooting, wave, and he starts flying around. It's just boring as hell. I don't like Wu Yang. But as was, I love you. I hope you have a fantastic day. Praise be. Goodbye. 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 Goodbye.